Hello, everybody. I am Sun Psychic Jean, and please welcome my very special guest, Sarah from Hibiscus Healing. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Jane. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. This is amazing.
It is fun, isn't it? It's fun getting to know different people and interviewing different people and finding out more about different people and getting together. This is
Hmm.
our first time meeting.
Yep.
Well, our first time doing a show together with Sarah and I wanted us to get to know Sarah a little bit more together. So we're not going to be doing readings today. We're going to be doing some conversations, some finding out more about how Sarah got started and and a little bit more in depth about her spiritual awareness. I just want to pick your brain. I love
Okay.
some of your philosophies and some of your practices. And I think we got to know each other a little bit on some of the shows that I was having. Who was it that was? It was with Kelly Callie Healer. We were
Hmm.
doing
Yes.
um, our crystal grids. And it was just like an introduction of what I do with my grid. It's not like I'm an expert or anything, but it sparked so much conversation, so much.
Yes.
Oh, and I do this, and it grew and developed itself. It was really just so much fun. So, and I learned so much about so many of you here in the chat that all of you have your own experiences. So I'd love to get to know. Um, all of the content creators a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, that show was really fun.
I get so giddy. I really do. And I'm like, and it's like a race
Hmm.
to the end. There's just not enough time to cover everything that you want to cover and be
Yes.
spontaneous. If I'm anything, I'm spontaneous. I go by I don't know what you call it, on the heels. I don't know. I
The
forget
seat
the
of your
little saying.
pants.
Yeah, the seat of my pants. Yeah, something like that. And Abby's here. Hi, Abby. Abby Mosier's here, and
Hi.
Marby Gongora. Hi, Marby. Nice to see you.
Hi,
And
Marby.
Mona Lee is here, and Linda Butterfly Readings is here. Aww.
Linda.
Thank you, Linda. Linda did the initial introduction, I believe, the
Hmm.
official introduction for Sarah
Yes, she
and I.
did.
So thank you very much, Linda, and thank you for being you. She's an amazing individual for sure,
Yes, she's just
and
got so much love to give.
she certainly does, and a lot of wisdom.
Hmm.
Angelia is here and she says, Jean, love you. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I did. Thank you very much, Angelia. Hope you did too. Can you believe it seems like last week? It was only 2 days ago.
I know.
Thanksgiving.
Oh, I know. We had a super fun Thanksgiving. My sister and her boyfriend come, and they always bring these most interesting games. They just find the most unique board games, and we just had so much fun playing games all night. It was awesome.
Cool. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot
Hmm.
of fun. Um, so thank you everybody for being here. And I have a little bit of a list of questions that I
Okay.
wanted to run down. And Sarah, but first of all, can you tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel? And I encourage everybody to go over to Sarah's channel and to subscribe. She's just getting started out, and we don't have all of the functions at our disposal on YouTube until we hit a certain number of
Yes.
subscribers. So we really do need your help. And she has the experience, the ability, and the expertise. She just doesn't have the subscribers. So please do go on over and subscribe to Sarah's Hibiscus Healings. And I'm going to put the link in the chat below. And go on over there and tell your friends and others that you know, and subscribe, because once they get up to a certain point, then they can start, then they're a little bit more on an even playing field. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel and how you got started there.
Oh, how I got started on YouTube. I was taking Deborah Zackow's tarot class, and that's where I actually met Linda. And we were taking the tarot class, and she just says, "You need to get out there. You guys need to get out there." And we're like, "Nope, we're not going. Nope, we're not going on YouTube. No way." Um, and then we did her members only. So we went on and we did a few just for her members. So because it was it's not the whole YouTube universe. It's a smaller. It's only her members. So we did readings, and it was nerve-wracking at first because going on and doing live readings in front of a camera is hard. But then she's like, "You guys need to get out there," and Linda was the first one to do it. She was the first one to get out there and start her channel. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. But she inspired me actually to finally do it, because she was brave just to get up. She says, I'm just going to do it and see what happens. And then I was helping her out and she's like, you need to get one. So I decided, sure, I'll have a channel. So I did that. And now I have 3 regular shows that I do. So I have one called Twin Tarot Tuesday, where I work with Judy in the Skies, another one of our fellow students. And we use the same 3 decks. We both have the same 3 decks, and then we break down the question to 4 parts and then answer the question that way. It's really fun, and we get a lot of good insights. So we have that. We were doing it twice a month, but now we're just doing it once a month. And then I have a show with Donna Marie that we're doing once a month called Reset and Realign, where we do energy healings. I read chakras and I do distance Reiki. And then she does energy clearings on her. She does intuitive energy clearings and gives readings. And then I have one called the Lightworkers Lounge. We had our inaugural episode with Linda De Gonzalez and Diane G. Our next one is going to be on December 10th, and it'll be with Linda, Butterfly Readings, and Allie from Heart and Soul Connected. And then we're going to have another special guest. Gina
Yes.
Nikki B will be joining us, and I'm super excited for that. So that's a monthly show that we do. We just have a topic and just chat about different spiritual aspects. Not like, it's kind of like the conversations that people don't really like to have, because sometimes there's downsides to things, and people might be questioning things, questioning abilities, and it's kind of nice to hear other practitioners struggling too sometimes, so that it doesn't. So we had Akashic Records on our last one. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, okay, I feel better now because I thought there was something wrong with what I was doing," but it's everybody struggles. So
Wonderful.
Well,
it's a beautiful offering. It's a beautiful channel. And I did put the link in the chat, and please do go on over and subscribe, like, share, and tell all your friends. It's Sara's Hibiscus Healings. And I did put the link in the chat, and I'm sure that Linda's going to be putting the link in there too. So thank you very, very much, everybody. And that was a beautiful synopsis, and it's a unique offering. And there's a lot of readers, there's a lot of tarot card readers, there's a lot of psychics and mediums, and you're offering something just a little bit different. And it's not always easy to convey on a YouTube channel some of the things that you would like to do, but you slow it down enough and educate people on what to expect and what you're doing. And it really does lend itself to a live healing show. I thought that was really beautiful. So let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Ascending Universal. And tell us a little bit about your background before YouTube.
Before YouTube,
spiritual. Yeah.
The spiritual journey, I've always had a clairsentience. I've always felt stuff. It was overwhelming when I was younger because I didn't have anybody helping me with it. So that's always been there. And then I've always had claircognizance, but not as much, but it would just be the feeling. And then it was like, why am I feeling this way? So that was with me my entire life. It was kind of scary sometimes, the things I would feel. So I got to a point in my life where I blocked it and repressed it. After my son saw his first ghost, I was like, nope, we're cutting this off. We're not letting this. I don't want my son to deal with this. So I shut everything down because it's scary when you're a kid to feel things that you don't know what you're feeling. And then I got to a point where blocking everything kind of sent me into this depression spiral because I was cutting off half of who I was basically. And in 2019, I am an esthetician. I'm not practicing at the moment. But I saw, there was in one of the trade shows, there was Linda Berteau's Chakralicious, where she teaches Reiki classes and she teaches gemstone treatments and stuff. So I went and signed up for her advanced energy healing course for estheticians, where you learn how to do Reiki facials, you learn how to do meridian point facials, gua sha, and different modalities to use in the treatment room. And that was really amazing. And we clicked. And then I went through her Heal the Healer program, which is an amazing program. That one really that was the key to my healing journey. And then I went and continued on through her Reiki Mastery program. And that's where, after doing that and doing the healing work, is when things kind of went bonkers with the intuitive hits. It was insane. This is a fun story. We have skunks in our backyard. So our dog would sometimes in the middle of the night just just start barking as soon as he'd smell the skunk. And I would get like, oh, stop. Because it's jarring at 3 a.m. when your dog's like barking like crazy. And then, so I'd always be like, Louie, stop. And I'd get kind of mad. And then one day I was dreaming. Well, I don't know if I was dreaming. But I was sleeping. And then in my dream, Louie came to me and said, I'm going to do something. You're not going to like it, but I'm just here to tell you that I'm going to do something that you are not going to like.
Wow.
But I have to let you know I'm going to do it. And I was like, okay. And then he starts barking, like freaking out, barking because there was a skunk. And then my husband's like waiting for me to get upset. And I go, oh, it's okay. Louie told me he was going to do that.
Oh
and my
my
husband
gosh.
was like, he's like, what? And I said, he told me it's okay. He told me he was going to do that. So everything's okay. And that was the beginning of just the messages coming through. It was pretty interesting. Yeah. Sometimes messages come through in a fun way.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, that is so intriguing. And it is something that we're all born with, that is conditioned out of us, and we're taught to disregard those instinctive feelings and only listen to what you're being told and the words that were given to you. So it takes a little while to turn back around and start listening to our own instincts and our own messages again, and our own feelings. But I just thank God for this entire community, because I too found this community around the COVID time, and I studied for 25 years prior to this, but never was able to put it into practice. So I thought, let me just do this. And I'm able to practice. It was such a huge blessing. It was written in the stars, and I don't know where I'd be without it. It is such a big part of my life. And my husband's like, I never knew this a part of you, like you're my wife, but you're a new wife now. Like all these things you say now. And I'm like, I don't know where they're coming from.
My husband said something similar too. He said, I'm so glad that you found this community. He's like, you're just so happy. And it's because you're in a community where people don't think you're weirdo, or they don't think you're just like a lunatic or whatever. It's understanding, it's loving, it's, you get to learn from other people, and it's just such an open and inviting environment.
Yep. The learning and sharing and support is just so very unique and beautiful and welcoming. It's really beautiful. And I told Allie on Heart and Soul Connected, I told her that I feel as though this is like a microcosm of how humanity is going to evolve. We're all, And it's this trust, this openness, this connectiveness, this support, and encouragement. And that's the way we're naturally supposed to be on this earth. But let's go ahead and start. So, how did your abilities change as you started taking classes and practicing sort of in do you do readings and healings, or just heal? You do both, right? You do tarot readings. Mhm.
Yeah, I do. I do tarot, which took me a while to come to
Really?
an agreement with my cards, because when I was learning it, we were fighting a lot. So we had to come to an agreement with the cards, and I don't know, tarot and I just have this connection now. I can't really do oracle. I do it more as a clarifier, but I'm always just get the best messages through tarot now. And then I do, of course, every time I'm doing a reading, I get the sensations. I feel like a lot of stuff coming through my heart chakra when I'm doing readings. And I feel, so I can feel the sensations when I'm getting readings. And I took almost all of Val Dragonfly Crystal's classes. I took the Akashic Records. I took the mediumship class. But when I took the channeling class, that was awesome, because her classes just give you a safe environment to, I mean, any class probably would give you that safe environment, but it gave you that safe environment to just practice and say the weird stuff that comes through.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes it comes through and it's nonsense and you're just like, what is that? But it makes sense to the person you're reading for.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, after that, I just got more confident and saying, okay, I will accept anything you tell me. And then it just started, then it just, messages just come through, just come through, just come through. And it's really accelerated since, I think it's accelerated since I found people to practice with and to feel comfortable with. I think that was a huge part of it.
And that's your personal practice, your channeling. That's You don't do that in any of your shows, right?
I haven't, well, sometimes I do.
Oh.
It's sometimes channeling comes through. That's why I don't really say that I'm doing one thing, because it's all coming through at once. Sometimes mediumship comes through. Like I'll be doing a reading and I'm just doing a reading, and then someone will just get in my face, and I was like, can you, I'm not here for that yet. So, but it just, whatever comes through comes through. And there was a funny incident where I was doing readings live, and the person asked a question about ascending universal butterfly. I think it might have been there too. Jenny A was asking a question about somebody named Gary. And then I don't know why I was like, this is going to be really weird, but I just have to say it. Gary needs new jeans. And
Wow.
I was like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever been told to say. And she was laughing hysterically when I said that, because it totally resonated. They were talking about his outfits like the night before. So sometimes when I'm doing, it doesn't matter if I'm doing Reiki, if I'm doing mediumship, if I'm channeling, if I'm doing tarot, whatever I need to get the message across, that's how it comes through.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's wonderful. That's beautiful. And a lot of us do come to that. We're beyond labels, and we don't just fit
Mhm.
into one groove or under one heading or one silo. It's all of the above. And it's really beautiful to see how we uniquely express with all of the different modalities that we've studied. Like I said, I've been studying for 25 years, and I've loved each and everything that I've ever studied, but I incorporate each and everything that I ever learned over the last 20 years in everything that I do today. And I always thought, oh, I learned feng shui. I'm like, oh, but I'm not a feng shui practitioner. I
Mm-hmm.
learned crystals. Oh, but I don't really do crystal healing. I learned Reiki. Oh, I'm not really doing Reiki. Like I thought they were like failures or I missed but actually it all comes in.
Yeah.
It all is incorporating and it all is meaningful and it's all part of the future. I mean, it's really just such they all build on one another and they all
Mhm.
are like cousins to one another. But I do understand when people just say, what do you do? I just say psychic medium, but there's more to that, you know?
Yeah.
But I do resonate with what you're saying. Um,
Yeah, I
so
also do crystal healing too. Sometimes when I'm doing Reiki or doing a reading, I just get called to grab a crystal and put it, when I'm doing distance Reiki, I use these worry dolls to represent
oh
the individual. If I'm doing their full body, and if I'm doing, this is Sid. He is my, he's what I use when I'm doing distance Reiki on like particular body parts, like if it's the knee or the neck or something. He's my proxy, and then I'll just hold a crystal to him. Just instinctively, I'll just grab one that I think they need, and
I think
that's
that
all encompassing.
Linda Butterfly Healings is very intuitive and knows how similar you and I are because here's
Mm-hmm.
my Reiki doll. She's actually a little angel. And this is
I
what we're
love it.
instructed to do, everybody. We have to find articulated limbs and,
Mm-hmm.
knees and feet as much as you can. But she was
Mm-hmm.
an angel and she was almost shining on the top of a shelf. And I was like, what kind of I had no idea it was actually an angel and I thought this was just the holder. It's her halo.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what I use for my Reiki. And I
Mm-hmm.
use my pendulum. Do you use a pendulum?
Oh yes, I
Like,
always forget that this is a modality because it's like a second arm or third arm, I guess. I forget that I use it because it's just a part of me.
I do. I do. And it's so beautiful. It's just so beautiful. You and I do actually have a lot in common. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about your relationship with your guides. Now, are you trusting yourself or do you have like a guide, like a personality or a name that you talk to, or is it like the energy and then it comes through you?
I don't have a particular person that I talk to. I've asked my guides for names and they're just like, you don't need to know that. So it's more like when I'm doing a reading, my mind is like all the time, like constantly like going. But when I'm doing a reading, my mind it goes blank. I'm able to empty all of my thoughts and just allow the messages to come through. It's like the only time that I don't have. I was talking to my husband and I was like, "What's going on in your brain right now?" And he's like, "Nothing." And I go, "Really?" Because I'm having 5 different conversations in my head. I'm thinking about dinner. I'm thinking about this and this and this. Um, but when I'm doing channeling and tarot readings or Reiki, anything like that, it's just my mind goes empty. And then whatever needs to come through just comes through. But I did, during the channeling class, when we were doing the meditation portion, I did get to meet, I don't know if it's the same guide or if it's, a different guide. But I've been told by many, many practitioners that I have this connection with the violet flame.
Hmm.
And I, during the meditations, I would see this, it was like this black blob, and then it would form to a phoenix. So that's why I got my phoenix necklace. So it would form and it would be this phoenix flying in the air. And then it would all of a sudden turn into an angel with these beautiful
Wow.
angel wings. So I'm not sure if that's the same guide or if it's 2 different guides. I haven't figured that out yet, but I do have a strong connection to the phoenix and then the angel Zedekiel. I'm not exactly sure if that's how you pronounce his name. In some He's also associated with Ezekiel. That they're and Ezekiel's associated with the violet flame, which I had no idea at first, but I think he's one of my guides.
Cool.
But I know I have an angel because an angel appears a lot.
Wow. Wow. And they I call it shapeshift, and they have different incarnations or um different variations that they come
Mhm.
through. And I often get them, my spirit guide, sometimes when I'm doing a guided meditation, I'll have a spirit guide that's like a bear, and the bear will be leading us, and the bear will be protecting us, and the bear will be waving goodbye. And then as soon as I turn back and look, it's a spirit guide. It was the spirit guide the whole time, disguising itself as a bear, because I wouldn't be like, oh, like I would be shocked or be like trying to, like, it would throw me off if I saw a spirit guide, but they and it's not really shape shifting, but they change, and they, disguise themselves in a nice way, and they change in a way that is easier for you to accept and to understand and to be welcoming to them. It's
Mhm.
so amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
the possibilities are just endless. So all of those things are true, and I feel as though it's like a collective that you call on, and
Yeah.
they present to you in the incarnation or in the entity or in the description that you need at that time, and then they go back to that collective, and then another form comes forward. But I do, it's really just amazing. And I too don't have one particular guide that I talk to all
Yeah.
the time. Some people, they know that it's Henry, and they talk to Henry all the time, and they call on I'm like, I don't know how to do that.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, it's just kind of like whoever wants to come through. Because I feel the same way with readings. Like when you're talking about spirit guides, I've had a lot of interactions with the panther. So panther is one of my animal spirits, and Sasquatch.
Mhm.
He's one of my animal spirits too. I love Sasquatch, and I don't know what it is. Sasquatch is just so comforting for me. I don't know why. Um, but when like you're doing a collective reading for somebody, like the multiple people reading for somebody, I feel like this is the same concept I think with the spirit guides is the message is going to come through the person who allows you to resonate with the question because everybody has different life experiences. Everybody has different ways of saying things. For me, it's a lot of times a word vomit, like just bleh, comes out because I start to talk fast and um, it's like you're given the message from the person who you will be able to absorb it better from. And it could be in the same reading. Like I could say one part of it and like say Judy says the other, and that part resonates with the person more because she was the one that was supposed to give them the message. So
Mhm.
it kind of reminds me of what you were saying about spirit guides is there's multiple ones and each one has a different way of getting the message to you. So that's who's supposed to come through at that time.
Mhm. Mhm. It's amazing, and there's so much more that we really just don't know, but it's, accepting and being open, is really important. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you did offer this, but I do have it written down. You talked about, Sasquatch, and my next question was, tell us a little bit about your experience with different realms or different dimensions, and that leads into Sasquatch. So you can start there or start anywhere you'd like.
Different dimensions. I don't really know if I've experienced different dimensions. I feel like um beings have come to me. Like I've never astral traveled, which I haven't been able to do, but I've never really tried. I think it has to do with when I was younger. When I was younger, I used to get attacked by like held down, pinned down. And people would come in my room and I woke up one day and my Cabbage Patch doll was sitting on my chest and like a lot of scary things. And those dolls don't sit up by themselves. So a lot of scary things happened. So I think I those could have been interdimensional beings coming through. But I think I was so frightened that I blocked that part off. So I never wanted to leave my body. So I haven't worked on that, but I feel like I totally believe in interdimensional beings. I totally believe in, but I haven't gone anywhere. I haven't traveled there, but I think they come to me. They come to me. I had one experience that I couldn't really explain when I was a teenager. It was like it felt like an entire dream. Like I don't even remember what happened, but I just remember like coming out of it and like, what the heck was that? Like I don't even remember yesterday. It was very weird. So it could have been an experience, but I not 100% on that one.
Well, in a safe, controlled, intention-based, guided meditation, one can experience different types of dimensions. And what I meant by that is I do unicorn readings, I do dragon readings, and they exist in a different time and place, in a different dimension. And it's almost like they are sort of layered on top of each other. And also, the Sasquatch is in the earth plane, but in a different dimension. And the fairies and the gnomes and the sprites and all of these, sentient beings that are earthbound, but they're on earth in a different dimension on earth, or a different realm on earth. So do you have any mystical beings or any connection with unicorns or dragons?
Just the Phoenix, Sasquatch. Would you consider spirits in a different dimension, or would they be on our plane? Like,
no, they definitely are in a different dimension.
Because like a lot of spirit activity, like from the deceased. I've had that. I do sometimes encounter tricksters. You know, what they might put something in your way all of a sudden and trip. You know, I have encountered tricksters before. Yeah.
What about pets?
Pets?
Yeah.
You mean interdimensional pets?
Well, pets that come to you either in just they come to you, the pets who have crossed over and that come and interact with you, like your pet talked to you, and that would be sort of a telepathic or connection. And with our loved ones on the other side, mediumship would be considered telepathically communicating. But I'm just curious if you connect with pets at all, either living or crossed.
Yeah, I have not connected with any of my past pets. No, I haven't tried, but I did a reading. We did a reading recently with on the Lightworkers Lounge about someone was asking about their pets' past lives, and I was able to connect with the pet that way. I was able to do a reading for the pet, and I've actually done a couple readings on pets before. So I was able to connect that way, but I haven't had any pets come and help me except for Louie telling me not to freak out.
That is so funny. So funny.
Yeah, I just haven't practiced it, but I mean, there's so many things that I haven't practiced that I probably
maybe in the future. You never know. Yeah. Keep an open mind. Okay. So just curiosity, wanted to dive in and find out a little bit about your background. And how do you feel about astrology? Do you follow astrology?
I do. I don't know anything about astrology. That's one of the things I want to learn. To me, astrology is like learning like not metaphysics, but some sort of science. There's so much involved, and it's like literally learning, like being a mathematician, like going and there's so much involved. So I hadn't wrap my brain around it yet, but it's one of my goals is to break it down into the smaller sections and start there. But I do 100% fully believe in astrology, and I believe in, because my son's an Aries, and he is the epitome of an Aries teenager. He's 18, and he is like, there's just no way. And I'm totally a Virgo at some, at some things. I'm meticulous. I'm organized. I love everything to have its place. So there, I definitely believe in it. I haven't dabbled in it yet because it's intimidating. There's so much to learn.
It's a whole new language, and I just try and
Yes.
expose myself as much as possible and do little bits of practice. But it is definitely the wave of the future, and it was. I mean, our ancestors used it all the time
Yes.
instinctively. So, and they also listened to the rhythm and the hum of the earth. So,
Hmm.
just beautiful. And we're all, it just blows my mind. I say, if you ever feel like life is overwhelming and you're taking life way too seriously, just remember that we're all standing on a rock that's circling around a big giant ball of fire hurling through space. Like, can
Hmm.
you believe, like, you just can't take this so seriously because you have to keep it in perspective. It's just the impossibility of it all. It just is so mind blowing. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So
Absolutely.
tell me about essential oils. How do you feel? Do you do aromatherapy or?
I um I don't practice aromatherapy, but I do use essential oils. I have a few that I absolutely love. I in my aesthetics practice, you have to keep. I'm very when I have people in my room, I'm very cognizant of allergies and different things. So I don't really like to have my room um, scented just in case someone has an allergy. Because for me, like lavender, if I smell it too long, I'll get a migraine. I have jasmine the way I get a migraine, so I'm sensitive to things. But I do I love Palo Santo. I love I don't know what it is about peppermint. It's just energizing. I think it helps um open up, for me it opens me up. Peppermint be very invigorating. But what I do like to do, I do make little cachets. Uh,
Oh,
this is um this is a tea bag, and I have lavender and chamomile inside of it.
oh,
And I sometimes use these when I need like lavender for protection and connection, and then chamomile helps with connection too, but it's very calming and soothing, and it helps with it just calms things down and just makes me so happy. So I do this, and then I have some crystals. No, this is my peacock feather. But I had a thing of crystals. I don't have them. Oh, here it is. These amethyst chips. My sister actually brought them home for me from Japan, and I
wow.
had them chamomile in them for, I think it was 3 years. So they permanently smell like chamomile now. So I love to use these crystals when I'm doing healing work because it's just that extra protection layer, and it smells really good. So I work with more of the healing herbs than actual fragrances, just out of uh, I don't want to give myself a migraine or someone else. But I
Yeah,
definitely believe in the power of essential oils and how wonderful they are, not just for your emotional state, but for your physical health too.
I believe so too. I'm very much uh, emphatic about aromatherapy and essential oils and the blends. It's really
Mhm.
just it's all part of it, but it's a lot for people, and it takes a whole lifetime to curate, to understand, to learn, and to acquire some of these things. Um, so you talked about your crystals. What about color therapy? You have such beautiful color all around you. Have you ever dabbled in finding out if you're like I see those on TikTok, like if you're a summer, if you're a winter, if you're cool, or have you ever gotten into
Yeah,
that?
I did that. We learned that when we were doing in our my esthetician when I was going to school. We learned that I am definitely a winter, I think. But I haven't studied color therapy in the sense where taken a class and like gotten certified on it, but I use it. Like I purposely, like I was telling Jean earlier, I purposely painted my treatment room this color because it's calming. And you choose colors that are going to set the mood for your clients. And when you're doing, even when you're doing different modalities, like when you're working with the chakras, when you're doing Reiki, that just picking the different stones, that's a form of color therapy, because you're matching the color of the stone with the chakra. And I just find certain colors. Have you ever looked at a color and just went, like, just relax? That used to be eggplant for me. Like I would just look at the color deep purple and I would just go, let a big sigh of relief out. So I would have different things in my treatment room that were different colors for different purposes. But I never studied it, but I think it just kind of naturally happens intuitively.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I use it a lot in my healing and in my my spiritual journeys and my meditations. It is so welcoming, and the frequency and vibration of color and the consciousness of color, just like the consciousness of our stones. It is so
Yes.
very gentle and subtle, but it's there, and it comes in and assists you when you least expect it, and you're like, huh, I'm going to have to go back and find out more about that. It's just so much fun.
You just reminded me of something. I don't know what I was doing. Was I doing a workbook? I'm not sure exactly what I was doing, but it was asking about colors and how you feel with certain colors. What the heck was it? I can't remember what I was doing, but I realized that the color orange and the color gold and yellow used to make me so angry. Like I would get so just like, oh, it would just set, it was just an uncomfortable like feeling when I would look at them, and I just didn't know why. And my husband's favorite color is orange. And I was just like, God, that's such an offensive color to me. Like, oh, I don't want it anywhere near me. I was just really, really against. It was like aggressive, and it just. But now I don't hate any color. I love all colors. I don't have any negative feelings towards colors. I don't know why they used to trigger me so much before I started my healing journey, but now I welcome all colors. It's a very interesting thing to have such a negative reaction to a color, but it was something that I was like, that was very weird. And now I like them all.
I think exploring something like that in the Akashic records would be very telling and revealing, and maybe dissolving some of that residual if there is any. And sometimes awareness just really takes the emotional charge out of things. You're like, oh, that's what that was. Like now you know. So what would be some of your favorite tools? And just whatever you have around you. If you have any of your favorite tools around you
to use during my treatments.
Yeah, or you can tell us about them. I see bells behind you. I see sun catchers. I see crystals and incense and sprays. You talked about your pendulum.
Yeah, I have to say my pendulum is my favorite tool. This is my favorite tool. And I have my divining rods.
Oh, wow.
Also. Yeah, I love divining rods. They're just not as easy to carry in your purse. So, but I do love them when you're doing like for the basic yes or no questions. And then of course my crystals. And I did get, this is one of my new favorite ones. My Reiki master teacher gifted this to me. She got it from her spiritual teacher. So this is a bell that I use to clear the energy before I go on and do a show. This is probably my new favorite tool. And it's got such a beautiful, beautiful sound. So I'm super grateful for this. So I use this to clear the energy.
Why can't we hear it?
Oh, yes. You
Oh, you
can.
have to gong it. It's okay. It
Oh,
doesn't
yeah,
have
because it doesn't have the thingy inside. So
okay.
beautiful. And then I'll go and do the Reiki power symbol in all four corners of the room with the bell. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things. It's
And
and
do
then
you
my
have a
tarot
drum?
cards. I do have a drum. It's in the kitchen. It's more of a display drum. I don't really have good rhythm. So I have to practice. But I do have a drum and I do love to use that. And then just, any of the I have, little singing bowls everywhere. I love them. They're wonderful. And then what else do I have that I use? I think that's probably it, other than crystals. And I just like to put together yeah, I don't know. I just find whatever I find that I feel connected to, I'll add it to um my mess back here. I'll just add things as they come. This is one of my favorite things to meditate with. This is my Preenheit wand, and it helps connect to the guides, to your angels. And I love this. I love Preenheit. That one's beautiful. And this is the raw
Wonderful. Well,
form.
thank you for sharing all of those. Wow. Wow. And such an eclectic collection and thoughtfully curated and invited. And some of them we use for a time and then sit in a prominent spot of honor. And then others come in and then we go back and we're like, oh, I remember you. I love you. Let's work again together. You develop a connection, a resonance, a knowing, and it's so beautiful the way our tools grow along with us. I too have very similar tools all around me as well. And I have a room back there that looks a lot like your room there. And it's really, it's all connected. And these things are tools for a reason because we don't actually need them. Everything we need, we already have inside of us. But they're just so beautiful to inspire, to spark, to aid, to support, and to help guide us. And it's all about frequency and vibration and our relationship with these tools that we have around us. And I love that you incorporate your cards, and I see them very prominently displayed up there. And so,
Yeah, they're
and then the
everywhere.
color, that's just the color. I don't know that you realize some of your abilities and the depth and the bandwidth in which you do practice, but it's really very beautiful. And like you said, it's just not one, and I'm not an expert in any, but I have experienced and worked with so many that it's really just a beautiful addition to our everyday practice.
Yeah, I don't have as much faith in my abilities as other people do, but I think that's normal to always question and doubt yourself. But the one thing I do have is unrelenting faith in what comes through. Like I never question it. And I think that, and I never have. I question everything. If you tell me so, I question everything usually, but when I'm getting messages, when I'm feeling stuff, 100% faith and I know it's not coming from me. So I think that's that's how I know it's real, is because it's not from me. And I have absolute faith in it.
And you're trusting yourself that you were talking about. It will come with practice, and experience. And learning from, things that may not have gone exactly as planned. And sometimes that's exactly what we needed. So tell me a little bit about do you have a meditation practice?
So for me, meditation, I don't, because I have tried so hard to meditate like the traditional way, that I convinced myself that I wasn't capable of meditating, because
Oh.
I can't sit there quietly and I can't sit there quietly and just meditate. My brain will go, my body will start twitching and doing weird things. But what I do, I daydream a lot. So
Hmm.
I think that's my meditation. Like I'll be in a crowd. I actually do my best work in like crowds, because I don't like the energy of a lot of crowds. So I think I'll go into my own little world, and just this calm will come over you, and 10 minutes will have gone by and you don't even remember doing anything. Like, so I think I can meditate. I just don't do it the traditional way. Cause I do have conversations with myself or somebody, during these times where I'm just like, just drifting off, and, so I think that's my version of meditation. Um, so I'm not 100% sure on
Hmm.
that, because I've
I
always,
like that daydreaming
Mhm.
technique, or the daydreaming analogy is very much um, part of it. And that's your connection to your higher self and your guides as well, or from what I understand, what I'm feeling. And do you do any type of like a spiritual journey? Do you do like a guided meditation, or do you create a guided meditation?
Um, I've tried guided meditations, but I think the nonconformist inside of me just wants to do something else. So what I feel like, I've tried guided meditations, but then it doesn't work until I let go of control, if that makes any sense. Like if I'm
Hmm.
trying to follow, and like if I'm listening to a guided meditation, I try to see the tree or the lake, or I can't do it. So I just have to kind of do whatever. Like I can sit through the meditation, but I'm seeing something else.
Hmm.
I'm doing something else, because if I try to focus and control what's happening, it doesn't work for me. And
Hmm.
I don't know if that's good or bad, but or normal or not normal. But that's
I
how
think
it works
that's
for me.
it is. It's very normal, very
Okay.
normal. But I think it's similar to what you can. I know you open up and you allow for the Akashic record readings to come through,
Mhm.
but do you see things when you do when you connect to the Akashic records, and
Um,
does it develop?
like images during the reading.
Hmm.
Not. I don't really see, when I go into the Akashic records. It's a spider web. That's what I see, and then I actually see the spider going around and like creating these different webs. And then when I start doing the readings, I'm not really visual. I get the knowing and then the feelings. So I don't really see images, um, during those readings, but it's definitely just I hear, and I just know what's happening and what I'm supposed to say, and then I'll just get sensations everywhere, and that's how it happens for me.
It's fascinating, just fascinating. Um, yeah, that it's amazing. You have an amazing background and collected collection of abilities and experiences, and you bring all of these together in such a harmonious offering. And with your healing background and with your esthetician background, and knowing how to approach people, talk to people, and greet people, and it just is really such a beautiful package, but it's a unique package, just specially for you, Sarah. And I think that a lot of us here are just we're similar. Like I'm like, oh yeah, but I like the
Mhm.
crystals, I like the pendulum, and there's so many similarities that I see. Linda would says, oh, you got to talk to G because we do have,
Mhm.
but we also have things that are different in our experiences,
Mhm.
and I think that that's what makes us special. And you're right, each and every one of our readings is just a little bit different, and people will get something different from you than they would from me, even though we have this similar type of background. Now, as far as mediumship, when I started my mediumship, I felt my soul's vibration. I can feel my soul's vibration. I can connect to my soul and connect to my soul connected to the source, the golden beam of light coming through. And I can feel, all I have to do is reference it, and I can feel the actual energy and the existence of my soul and the awareness of my soul. So when I connect to your loved ones or your pets or to you, I blend my soul's vibration. That's that clairsentient type of feeling.
Mhm.
That's our soul's vibration, that energetic frequency with your energetic frequency, or your loved one's energetic frequency, or your pet's energetic frequency, or whatever it is that I want to connect with. And I blend our soul's vibration. And this is the connection that brings through my energetic connection is probably my strongest. And then I start getting hits, and then I start getting uh, uh, pictures, things that I
Mhm.
can see. But it's always starts right here in my energy, in my soul. But
Mhm.
I am also very sensitive, very sensitive. And I can feel other people's energy, but I know now how to protect, how to keep my boundaries, and how far I can extend myself. And like you said, in groups, like being inside of an airplane too long is very difficult for me.
It really is. Um, I this was not this anniversary because we just had our anniversary in October, but our 20th last year, my husband and I were at a restaurant, and we were just sitting there, and there was this kid at the table with his parents. The kid had to be like 2 at the most, and he dropped his crayon, and then he was just like, like looking around, like hey, like pointing and like going like this, and everybody was ignoring him, and I just started getting agitated. I was like, what the heck? I was like, give him his crayon, give him his crayon, and I was like, what the heck is wrong with me? Like, I was like really annoyed, like, and agitated, and then all of a sudden I stand up and I stomp over there and I put the crayon on the table and then I stomp back to my table. And I was just like sitting here, what the heck what just happened? And I said to my husband, I go, was that weird? And he's like, no, that wasn't weird. And I said, it felt weird to me because it wasn't me. I did not do that. I was taken over, and this was the only time that's happened. I was literally taken over, and my body was used as a conduit to go get that kid his crayon. And it was the weirdest feeling. I was just sitting there like freaking out the rest of the dinner. Like, I thought it was weird. And another interesting thing is nobody in the restaurant even seemed to notice that I did it.
Mm.
It was like it was like I was in another, like everything froze and I was in another like I guess dimension. Like they were here, I was here, but it was really weird. And yeah, I'll never forget that experience
Do you think it
of,
was the strong will of the child?
oh yes, I definitely think it was the child's guides calling to the closest the closest person that would listen. I definitely think that's what it was, because he wasn't crying or anything. He was just like annoyed, like people weren't paying attention to him. And so I did. And then I was like, I went over there and I was like, I'm so sorry that was weird, wasn't it? I'm like, I apologized to the family, and they looked at me like, what are you talking about? And then I went to my husband. I mean, he shouldn't have left me alone, because that's when I went and apologized. And I said, I just went over and apologized. And he goes, well, that was weird. He goes, you doing it wasn't weird, but going over and apologizing to them was weird. But I was like, it was, it was the strangest sensation. Have you ever had that happen? It was like you see in the movies, you know, when people are doing mediumship and they're like, oh, but then they start talking in different like tones, and
It was an
it was very
involuntary
weird.
action. Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
so weird.
One time I was at a gas station and I was pumping my gas. And you know, when you're daydreaming and you're like brain dead and you're tired
Mm-hmm.
and you're just staring off into space. And an awareness, like somebody's consciousness came into my consciousness. And I'm like looking around and I see this group of women standing outside of the gas station, you know, one of those little mini market gas stations. And then the women started parting, and I could see they were surrounding this young boy in a wheelchair, and he was a quadriplegic, and he had like his head was being supported. I guess he had cerebral palsy, or I don't know what he had. I don't know, but he was, you know, nonverbal, couldn't walk, couldn't talk, couldn't, but he was aware that my awareness was there. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, hey, hi, I'm over. And I'm like looking around thinking, where is this coming from? And I looked at him and I thought, huh. And then I looked back and I'm like, that guy, I think, is connecting to me because his awareness was so big and
Mm-hmm.
mine was just open and dazed, like just relaxed. And he was able to come into my awareness. I'm letting you know, and there our energy fields are so much larger than we could ever imagine, especially with him. He has like limited abilities in all of his other senses, that his
Yep.
awareness is so big. And how do you think he tells people of what he needs? And you know, and this is what I feel like perhaps this young child may have had some sort of an autistic side to him, perhaps, or a very strong will, or your consciousness and his consciousness met in a different way, and you reacted to that physically when you're meeting energetically, similar to
Mm-hmm.
the way that young boy interacted with me. And it didn't dawn on me. I mean, it was like, it just like you, it was like stunned. You're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then I felt bad because I could have gone over and maybe interpreted, but no, they didn't ask me to interpret. They can find, they know what he needs, you know. But it was really a unique experience, and I think it was a teaching experience. And perhaps this boy in the restaurant with the crayon was a teaching experience for you, Sarah.
Oh, I 100% think it was. Because you know when you're first I'm just gonna say reopening up to your gifts and like really acknowledging them, and okay, I'm going, this is the direction I'm going, this is who I'm supposed to be, this is, you know, this is what I'm meant to do here on earth, and really accept your gifts. I think they do kind of give you little challenges.
Hmm.
Because another thing that happened within a few weeks of that, my husband and I were driving to Costco, and there's this four-way stop, and I was just like, I saw the car run the stop sign. Um, and then I looked down and I made eye contact with the driver, the lady, and my husband was getting ready to go, and I just said, "Stop!" And I like yelled at him, and I forced him to stop, and she just zoomed by. And that was the first time I had seen something before it happened.
Wow.
So, but it was a warning, you know, stop, this lady isn't going to, so you need to save everybody involved. So that was another one that was like, okay. That's when my husband started believing in my
Mm,
gifts.
mhm.
That's when he was like, okay, I'm not going to question anything you say anymore, because that was pretty intense
Mhm,
when
mhm.
stuff like that
And
happens.
it's a way for you to believe in yourself as well.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, they give
information
you
that
those
comes.
little nudges, you know. They're like, okay, we're going to give you instant gratification this time, because sometimes you get stuff and you don't find out till later. Like if you do a reading for somebody, you don't find out till later if it really resonated, or if it you know, if it helped them at all. But so sometimes spirit will give you that instant gratification so you don't doubt yourself.
And how do your spirit guides guide you through your life? Do you hear them? Do you feel them? Do you trust your instincts? Do you feel it in, I mean, you are clairsentient, so you must feel it a
Yeah.
lot.
It's always been, I think it's a mixture between clairsentient and claircognizant. So like I would walk into situations like one of my friends and I in high school were walking down the streets in Seattle, and this is when I lived in Washington, and we were just walking down the street and I go, "Oh, I just got this nervousness," and I just was like, "Oh, we got to go." And then I heard, get out of here. And I was like, "We need to go now." And she's like, "What?" She's just like walking along, we need to go now. And then so we turned around and started walking away. And then this car like zooms up and like this huge like fight broke out. I was like,
Oh my
thank goodness
gosh.
we would have been right in the middle of it. But so that's always how it's been. It's always been like it'll start as like a vibe, a feeling, and then I'll get, it's not like I hear anything. Sometimes I hear, but usually it's just I know like, okay, we gotta go. Like I knew we had to leave, or I knew something was gonna happen. So that's always how it's been for me. So I've always trusted my intuition. It's never steered me wrong.
Hmm. And I get questions from a lot of people on the YouTube, and they say, "How do I connect with my spirit guides?" And and really, the secret is you already are.
Yeah.
You always have been.
Yeah.
They're just you categorize it as something else, but really, that's what your spirit guides are. It's that intuition. It's that little nudging. It's that little awareness. And
Mm.
it's not like your spirit guides are going to tell you what to wear every day, or you know, if you're going to meet somebody or if you're going to get this job. It's important for you to trust what you sense and feel, and go with your instincts. Trust yourself. Trust your vibes. It's not easy, and they do come up spontaneously, and they often come through with humor. But it's really an enchanting, magical life. But everybody already does it. It's just that
Mhm.
you pay attention to it, or you notice that this is something that is a gift for you, not just something that is part of your everyday life. And I think that is
Yes.
just that little bit of change of awareness, or that little change of perspective, is really where the magic is.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Because I've had friends who I was like, "You're gifted," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" Because they're just so busy. They're like really into the material world, like, oh, the newest thing and this, and they're just really involved in the everyday life, and the hustle and bustle. And I was like, but you've got some gifts that you need to like that they're there. You have spiritual hits. And they're just like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you just slow down and you'll hear them.
Mhm.
Slow down and you'll
Mhm.
hear them. And it is
Abs
hard to um sometimes when you're first learning, first opening up, and it's at least I found from talking to people, it's hard to decipher what is you and then what is the message coming through. So it's hard to, that's why I don't like reading for anybody that I know really well. Like I don't read for
Oh,
family because I'm going to put my own opinions in there. It's just going to happen. So I generally try to go completely blank like I do. And then, but if I know anything about the situation, it's a little harder to not want to get involved and put your own spin on what the outcome is going to be.
I agree. I agree. It's just the way that it is, because it's our knowing, and our a bias is compromised. And when we know nothing about you and we read you for the very first time, we have no doubt that what comes through is from spirit. But
Yeah.
if I've met you several times and things come through, I wonder, did that influence when they told me that story about them in the car? Was that influencing my answer? It's not easy to discern the difference. but trusting the frequency and the vibration of the message and the intensity of the message is really key too.
Mhm.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time there, Sarah, but thank you so very much. I've really enjoyed getting to know you better and learning more
Yes.
about you and all of your practices and picking your brain and seeing all the similarities. I love finding out people who have the same experiences and different experiences. But Linda is right. You and I have very similar qualities.
Yes,
And with that
absolutely.
said, I would like to invite you back and maybe do a show with doing readings together.
That would be wonderful. I wanted to add one thing when we're talking about doing readings for people. When I do joint readings with like another reader, I don't know if this is not okay or disrespectful, but I won't listen to what they're saying.
Hmm.
When I won't listen to what they're reading because I want to get what's pure. I don't want their reading to influence what I'm reading too. So even when I do the twin tarot with Judy, I kind of, you know, I try not to hear what she's saying, so the message doesn't get it doesn't get like you know skewed by what she's saying. So, but I
Hmm.
would love to come back on and read with you.
Well, great, great. And I thank you very much for doing that. But um, that does happen, and sometimes it's like we'll pick up an energy, and then the other readers will pick up on the same energy.
Yeah.
And but I too, when I was first starting on YouTube, found that very challenging. And there is like this zone that you get in when others are reading, and or I'm writing and getting my
Mhm.
messages
Yeah.
as they're reading. But it is hard not to listen or to let them talk and hear what they're saying and get the message. There's a focus and a concentration or an awareness that you need to focus on, and it is a muscle that will get stronger in
Yes.
time. Yeah. Mhm.
100%. That's why I'm awful in the chat. I always have to apologize to the chatters. I'm so bad, but I'm in the zone, and I want to
Yeah.
make sure that when I'm doing my reading, everybody gets the most accurate. Like they all get their attention, and that's pretty much what I focus on. So sorry,
Yeah.
chatters.
Yeah, I know. I know. I said, I would love to sit here and talk to you all day long, or you can get readings. They're like, we want readings. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again, Sarah. It was lovely getting to know you and
You
learning all
too.
about your history and your background and your YouTube channel. Please do, everybody, go on over to Sarah's YouTube channel and please like, share, and subscribe and tell your friends. The new YouTubers, it's a big jump when trying to get to that certain level where you get all the perks. So please do go on over and tell other people if you like Sarah's channel to go on over and subscribe. If you're here now, if you're watching later, please do. It is a huge help to everybody, and it's important to help each other when we get started on this YouTube. It really, really is. It doesn't cost anything, and you can only benefit from learning more about what Sarah has to offer.
Thank
So
you.
you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is Sunday, and I'm reminding myself of that. I have a show tomorrow at noon or 11:45, and then I have Val from Dragonfly Crystals. We all know and love Val, and she's
Yes.
coming on, and we're doing a little chat tomorrow afternoon. So thank you again, everybody. And Sarah, when is your next show coming up?
My next show coming up is what is today? So I have Twin Tarot Tuesday on the 2nd with Judy, and then that's at 1 p.m. Pacific. And then we're doing the Reset and Realign with Donna Marie, where we do the Reiki healing and energy clearing. And that's on the 3rd. So next Tuesday and Wednesday. And the Reset Realign's at 5:30. So yeah.
Wow, that's going to be lovely. So please do go on over and
I love
check
that
that
one.
out.
I think
And
that's my
thanks.
favorite one that we do, the Reset and Realign. Oh, I just love that one.
Oh, Well, that's lovely. I can't wait. I'll make sure that I catch it. So thanks again, everybody. And special thanks to
Thank
Linda
you.
Butterfly Readings for connecting us for sure. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you enjoy this content, hit like, share, and subscribe. Remember to click the bell to be notified of future videos. Thanks again. Bye.